The nature of contemporary celebrity culture has long revolved around an intricate dance between reality and illusion, a boundary that has become increasingly blurred in an era dominated by hyper-realistic digital manipulation and overnight sensations. We live in a world where the moments that shape our collective cultural consciousness are no longer just witnessed. They are anticipated, manufactured, dissected, and frequently reinvented by an audience hungry for spectacle. When two global icons at the absolute zenith of their respective industries find their lives intertwined, the resulting public fascination ceases to be mere tabloid curiosity and instead transforms into a massive, self-sustaining cultural phenomenon. For months, whispered rumors, calculated public appearances, and an unprecedented convergence of the worlds of high-stakes professional sports and international stadium pop music have kept millions of onlookers completely spellbound. It is a narrative that feels almost too perfectly scripted to be true, drawing together two entirely different universes of fandom into a singular, obsessive focus. Every single gesture, every chosen wardrobe piece, every subtle glance captured by a long-range lens has been analyzed with the precision of historical documentation, leading up to an event that promised to redefine modern pop culture history. Yet, as the anticipation reached a fever pitch, the boundary between what is genuinely happening and what the public desperately wishes to see began to erode entirely. As we navigate this incredible journey through the highest echelons of modern fame, we invite you to stay connected with us for every major twist, exclusive insight, and deep dive into the stories defining our world by subscribing to this channel right now. The mechanics of modern myth-making have shifted dramatically with the advent of advanced technology, allowing communities of passionate followers to construct their own versions of reality when official confirmation remains tightly locked away behind a wall of absolute privacy. In the days leading up to the past weekend, a quiet storm was brewing across the digital landscape, characterized by an unprecedented wave of user-generated imagery, speculative timelines, and manufactured visual evidence that claimed to offer an unvarnished glimpse into the private lives of the world's most talked-about couple. These images, which spread across social media platforms with the speed of wildfire, depicted breathtakingly lavish settings, emotionally charged exchanges, and a gathering of some of the most recognizable faces on the planet. To the untrained eye, these visual artifacts appeared to be the definitive proof of a historic milestone, a validation of months of intense public investment and romantic speculation. They were shared by millions, analyzed by self-proclaimed experts, and celebrated as the ultimate culmination of a modern fairy tale, creating a collective delusion that temporarily eclipsed the reality of the situation itself. What the public was witnessing, however, was not a sequence of authentic historical moments, but rather the terrifyingly sophisticated capabilities of generative artificial intelligence deployed on a scale never before seen for a private civilian event. This massive influx of synthetic media highlighted a growing societal vulnerability, where the desire for a specific narrative to be true completely overrides the critical faculty to distinguish between a real photograph and a pixel-perfect digital simulation. The phenomenon created an extraordinary paradox where the entire internet seemed to be celebrating a singular, momentous occasion through a lens of absolute fabrication, while the actual participants and their inner circle remained completely silent, hidden behind an impenetrable veil of security and discretion. As these synthetic images continued to dominate global trending topics, they began to generate a unique momentum of their own, forcing media outlets to question their authenticity and prompting those who were actually present in the real world to finally speak out. The contrast between the digital fiction consuming the internet and the actual truth of what transpired behind closed doors forms the basis of an incredible modern mystery, illustrating how easily public perception can be manipulated in the digital age. The sheer scale of this cultural obsession becomes understandable when one examines the sheer magnitude of the figures involved, both of whom have spent years redefining the boundaries of achievement in their respective fields. On one side, we have a musical powerhouse whose songwriting prowess and narrative vulnerability have built an empire of unparalleled loyalty, capable of shifting local economies and dominating global charts with every single release. On the other side, a titan of American sports, celebrated for his extraordinary athletic achievements, charisma, and status as a multi-time champion in the nation's most popular sport, has captured the imagination of traditional sports enthusiasts and casual observers alike. The convergence of these two monolithic fan bases created a perfect storm of attention, where the typical boundaries of entertainment reporting were completely shattered. It was an alliance that felt both intensely public and deeply personal to the millions of people who felt a sense of ownership over the narrative, making the eventual prospect of a formal union the single most anticipated cultural event of the decade. Yet, when the weekend finally arrived, the reality of the situation was cloaked in an unprecedented level of secrecy that only served to fuel the digital firestorm raging across the globe. While the internet busied itself with rendering flawless, idealized versions of an elite gathering, a real event of staggering proportions was quietly unfolding in the heart of one of the world's most famous metropolitan areas. Shielded from the prying eyes of paparazzi and drones by an ironclad security apparatus, the tension between the fabricated perfection of AI-generated content and the raw, authentic emotional reality of the actual events created a profound disconnect that only a select few individuals could truly bridge. Among those chosen few was a celebrated visionary, a master of visual storytelling, who has spent years collaborating with the musical icon to shape her visual identity through some of the most ambitious and stylized music videos of the modern era. His presence at the actual gathering would ultimately provide the crucial turning point in this narrative, serving as the definitive voice of reason against a tidal wave of digital misinformation as the weekend drew to a close. This prominent director took to social media to confront the raging torrent of fake imagery head-on, delivering a sharp, unambiguous reality check to millions of speculating fans worldwide. Having stood inside the actual venue and witnessed the genuine unfolding of events, his perspective carried immense weight, effectively dismantling the validity of every single leaked photo and synthetic rendering that had colonized the internet over the previous 48 hours. His public statements did not merely dismiss the photos as simple counterfeits. Instead, he framed the actual experience as something so uniquely vibrant, complex, and emotionally charged that even the most advanced technological algorithms in existence would utterly fail to replicate its essence. This provocative assertion raised the stakes of the conversation entirely, suggesting that the real gathering possessed a rare, chaotic, and deeply human magic that defied the sterile capabilities of machine learning, leaving the public to wonder what could possibly have transpired to make a real-world event outpace the limits of artificial intelligence. The direct intervention of a world-renowned visual director who had spent years crafting the very imagery that defined the pop icon's career marked a critical turning point in the unfolding digital chaos. Joseph Kahn, the visionary filmmaker behind massive cinematic music videos like Bad Blood, Blank Space, and Look What You Made Me Do, found himself in a unique position where his artistic eye collided with global internet hysteria. Having been a trusted creative collaborator for a significant portion of Taylor Swift's historic run in the music industry, Kahn possessed an intimate understanding of her aesthetic, her standards, and her personal world. When he stepped forward onto the social media platform X, his words carried the definitive authority of someone who had actually crossed the heavily guarded threshold of Madison Square Garden on that momentous Friday evening. He did not mince words, delivering a blunt and uncompromising assessment that instantly reverberated across entertainment news outlets and fan forums worldwide. Kahn explicitly stated that every single picture circulating the internet claiming to depict the historic wedding ceremony between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce was an absolute fake. His commentary went beyond a simple denial, offering a fascinating critique of modern technology by asserting that artificial intelligence itself would completely break, crack, and fail if a user tried to prompt it to recreate the sheer scale, complexity, and unique atmosphere of the real event. This provocative statement from someone deeply embedded in the upper echelons of Hollywood and the music industry shed a harsh light on the sheer scale of the fabrication taking place across social media. While millions of fans were liking, sharing, and weeping over beautifully rendered images of what looked like a flawless royal wedding, Kahn was pointing out that these digital artifacts were nothing more than empty illusions generated by algorithms. To anchor his authenticity and provide a glimpse of the real world behind the digital smokescreen, Kahn shared an authentic glimpse of his own experience, posting a genuine photograph on Instagram alongside his wife Lotte. This single real image offered a stark contrast to the sterile, overpolished AI graphics that had dominated the web. Kahn's photo showcased a portion of the venue's genuine breathtaking decor, highlighted by an elegant and vibrant pink theme that gave the legendary New York City arena an unexpectedly whimsical and romantic ambiance. In his caption, the director expressed having a truly wonderful time celebrating the marriage of Swift and Kelsey the previous night, revealing a major personal highlight that instantly captivated cinema enthusiasts around the world. Khan shared that he finally got to meet the legendary filmmaker Steven Spielberg and his wife, the lovely Kate Capshaw, fulfilling a lifelong dream by spending an evening discussing the intricate craft of filmmaking with someone he considers the greatest of all time. As Khan continued to describe his first-hand impressions of the historic evening, he provided a tantalizing narrative that elevated the event far beyond the predictable, heavily managed corporate spectacles that often characterize modern celebrity unions. He noted that the entire wedding was significantly funnier and vastly more emotional than anyone in attendance had originally anticipated. Despite the staggering monolithic scale of the gathering, which took over one of the most prominent sports and entertainment arenas in the world, Khan emphasized that the atmosphere miraculously felt deeply intimate, warm, and personal. He acknowledged the staggering star power in the room by stating that, quite literally, everyone was there, describing the surreal experience to his wife multiple times as being akin to living directly inside the internet. It was this overwhelming, dense concentration of cultural icons' emotional depth and grand visual design that led Khan to declare that artificial intelligence would utterly fracture under the pressure if it ever tried to render the true essence of that night. The real event possessed a human vitality, an unpredictable humor, and a spontaneous emotional reality that lay completely outside the mathematical capabilities of machine learning models. The reality of the guest list, as confirmed by various reports emerging from the secure perimeter of Madison Square Garden, reads like a definitive registry of 21st-century global stardom, uniting figures who rarely occupy the same physical space. The arena, which usually hosts high-stakes professional basketball games, historic boxing matches, and massive rock concerts, was transformed into an ultra-exclusive sanctuary for a cross-section of the world's most elite talent. Among the legendary figures walking through the beautifully transformed corridors were Academy Award winner Brad Pitt, multi-time championship quarterback Tom Brady, and international multi-hyphenate superstar Jennifer Lopez. The pop music and fashion worlds were equally represented by icons like Selena Gomez, who has shared a celebrated decade-long public friendship with the bride, alongside supermodel Gigi Hadid and her boyfriend, the acclaimed actor and director Bradley Cooper. The presence of these towering cultural figures created an unprecedented concentration of celebrity gravity, validating Khan's description of the event, feeling like a living embodiment of the digital zeitgeist. This massive gathering of icons was not just a testament to the couple's immense industry influence, but also a reflection of how their relationship had successfully bridged the historically separate worlds of elite sports, Hollywood cinema, fashion, and international music. As the weekend progressed, tantalizing details regarding the interior design of the venue began to leak through traditional media channels, specifically via detailed investigative reporting from the Daily Mail. According to these accounts, leaked video footage captured from inside the secure Madison Square Garden complex revealed a meticulously planned visual history of the couple's highly publicized relationship, transforming the cold concrete of the stadium into a deeply personal museum of their love story. The walls of the venue were lined with massive, never-before-seen private photographs of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, offering guests a rare look into their private moments away from the relentless glare of the public eye. One of the most striking architectural transformations occurred in a grand, beautifully designed peach and white hallway that served as a main artery for the incoming guests. This elegant corridor featured an enormous, custom-designed TNT monogram insignia emblazoned prominently upon the wall, serving as the central visual anchor for the wedding's unique branding. This exact same sophisticated monogram was also beautifully stitched into custom handkerchief keepsakes distributed to each of the attendees, serving as a physical memento of a historic night. This blend of massive, stadium-sized scale and intricate, deeply thoughtful personal touches formed the core of the experience, illustrating how the couple sought to maintain their personal identity, even while hosting an event of historic proportions, while the world waited with bated breath for an official media release. The principal subjects of this global fascination maintained a status of absolute digital silence. Taylor Swift, who reportedly stunned her guests in a breathtaking, custom-designed Christian Dior wedding dress, and Travis Kelce chose to completely withhold any official photographs or formal statements in the immediate aftermath of the ceremony. This deliberate choice left a massive information vacuum that the internet was more than eager to fill, creating an environment where any scrap of authentic information from an actual eyewitness became incredibly valuable. Despite the strict security measures and non-disclosure expectations typical of an event of this magnitude, the sheer size of the gathering meant that certain details were bound to make their way into the public domain through enthusiastic participants who simply could not contain their excitement. The contrast between the couple's carefully maintained silence and the public's insatiable thirst for details created a palpable tension online. As millions of people combed through every social media platform looking for any verifiable crumb of reality. It was within this environment of intense speculation that an unexpected corporate leader stepped forward to provide an extraordinarily detailed, play-by-play account of the interior proceedings, briefly shattering the veil of secrecy before his dispatches vanished from the internet as quickly as they had appeared. The sudden and surprising digital dispatches from AMC Theatres' chief executive officer, Adam Aron, provided the public with an extraordinarily rare, unvarnished look into the exact structural and narrative mechanics of the historic gathering. Aron, a prominent corporate figure who has maintained a unique relationship with the entertainment world and the pop star's massive distribution network, chose to utilize his personal account on the social media platform X to share a highly detailed, chronological sequence of events from inside the arena. Although these fascinating posts were later completely deleted from his profile, the digital community managed to preserve his insightful words, which offered a striking contrast to the artificial imagery that had previously flooded the internet. Aron revealed that the inner design of the venue featured massive, beautifully blown-up childhood photographs of both Taylor and Travis, arranged systematically to showcase their lives at each distinct age, year by year, from the tender age of 1-year-old all the way to their late teenagerhood. This deeply sentimental visual timeline allowed the gathered elite to reflect on the entirely parallel journeys of two individuals who grew up in completely different environments, yet eventually found their paths converging at the absolute peak of global recognition and cultural influence. The corporate leader further pulled back the curtain on the grand physical transformation of Madison Square Garden, describing an intricate landscape design that successfully masked the traditional industrial aesthetics of the famous sports stadium. According to Aron's deleted dispatches, a breathtaking combination of thousands of real fragrant flowers and what appeared to be majestically crafted artificial trees welcomed the incoming attendees, creating an enchanted forest atmosphere right in the middle of Manhattan. This lush green environment led guests toward a precisely structured seating arrangement consisting of roughly 15 rows containing approximately 75 chairs each, positioned carefully around the central altar. While external media reports and industry insiders whispered that the total guest list reached an astonishing 1,000 attendees, Aron remarked on the incredible architectural paradox of the setup, noting that the entire space felt surprisingly intimate, small, and tightly knit. Everything within the venue was arranged to feel physically close, ensuring that despite the massive ceiling and historic proportions of the arena, the raw emotional weight of the vows, the shared laughter, and the tears of joy could be felt directly by every single person invited into that sacred, heavily fortified inner circle. This fascinating blend of immense scale and deep personal vulnerability helps explain why this particular union has captured the global imagination far beyond the typical boundaries of standard celebrity romance. The journey of the two main heroes represents a uniquely modern fairy tale, bringing together two individuals who have spent their entire adult lives navigating the intense, often distorting pressures of public scrutiny while continuously breaking records in their chosen fields. For Taylor Swift, the transition into this new chapter of her life comes after decades of using her deeply personal, narrative songwriting to document the complex landscape of human emotion, heartbreak, and resilience for an audience of millions. Her choice of a timeless Christian Dior wedding gown served as a classic, elegant symbol of a woman who has successfully reclaimed her own narrative, stepping into a partnership grounded in mutual respect and shared global stature. Travis Kelce's journey is equally compelling, tracking his rise from a passionate, highly competitive athlete in Ohio to a multi-time championship tight end whose charismatic personality, leadership, and athletic dominance have earned him a permanent place in the pantheon of professional sports. The convergence of these two extraordinary lives did not just create a powerful media narrative, it fundamentally altered the cultural landscape, bringing together two massive historically distinct fan bases into a singular, harmonious community. Throughout their highly publicized relationship, the worlds of professional sports broadcasting and international music stadium tours became completely intertwined, introducing football enthusiasts to the intricate world of pop music fandom, while simultaneously teaching millions of music lovers the strategic nuances of American football. This unprecedented cultural crossover was fully reflected in the diverse, star-studded crowd that gathered inside Madison Square Garden, where Hollywood icons, legendary athletes, and corporate leaders sat side by side, completely unified by their personal connection to the couple. The event served as a powerful reminder that even in an era characterized by deep digital fragmentation and a growing reliance on artificial simulation, the raw, authentic power of real human connection, shared celebration, and genuine love still possesses the unique ability to completely stop the world in its tracks. The intense battle over the authenticity of the wedding imagery, spearheaded by the sharp commentary of director Joseph Kahn, underscores a much larger, increasingly critical conversation regarding the future of truth in the modern digital age. As generative artificial intelligence continues to advance at an exponential rate, the ability to manufacture convincing visual evidence of major life events has created a landscape where the public can no longer instinctively trust what they see on their screens. Kahn's bold assertion that the real wedding was far too complex, emotional, and vibrant for an AI model to ever properly render serves as a comforting philosophical defense of the human experience, suggesting that there are certain aspects of reality, such as the spontaneous humor, the subtle glances, and the genuine atmosphere of a room filled with love, that simply cannot be reduced to algorithms and data points. By choosing to maintain absolute silence and withhold official photographs in the immediate aftermath of their ceremony, Swift and Kelce made a powerful statement about the value of privacy, choosing to experience their most sacred milestone fully in the real world, surrounded by the people who truly matter to them, rather than immediately surrendering it to the insatiable cycle of digital media consumption. As the echoes of the historic celebration begin to fade and the extraordinary decor inside Madison Square Garden is carefully dismantled, the story of this wedding will undoubtedly endure as one of the definitive cultural moments of the decade. It stands as a remarkable testament to the enduring power of myth-making in 21st century society, illustrating how a real-world event can completely outshine the most sophisticated digital fabrications the internet can offer. The tight security, the deleted social media posts from high-profile guests, and the absolute refusal of the couple to immediately commodify their special day have only added to the legendary mystique surrounding the occasion, leaving an indelible mark on pop culture history. In the end, the global fascination with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding proves that despite our growing collective obsession with technology and synthetic perfection, we remain deeply, inherently hungry for real stories, authentic emotions, and genuine human milestones that remind us of the power of love to bring people together across every imaginable boundary.